In the 12th century, in the quiet English village of Woolpit, something emerged from a wolf pit that would be recorded by medieval historians as a true and baffling event. This is not folklore invented centuries later. It was documented by Ralph of Coggeshall and William of Newburgh, two chroniclers of the time. One afternoon, as villagers worked in the fields, they heard faint crying coming from one of the deep pits dug to trap wolves. When they approached and looked inside, they did not find an animal, but two children, a boy and a girl, huddled together in fear. Their clothing was strange, made of unfamiliar fabric and cut in a style no one recognized. But it was their skin that froze the villagers in place. The children were green, not pale, not sickly. Green, as though their very blood carried a different hue. They spoke in a language no one had ever heard, their words rapid and musical, but completely incomprehensible. Frightened yet curious, the villagers carried them back to Woolpit, where the mystery only deepened. The children refused bread, meat, and ale. They would not eat anything placed before them. Days passed, and it seemed they would starve rather than accept the food of this world, until someone brought freshly harvested green beans. The children seized them desperately and ate nothing else. As whispers spread through the village, one question echoed in every mind. Where had they come from? And what exactly were they? As days turned into weeks, the boy grew weaker. Despite finally eating the green beans, his strength never fully returned, and before long he fell ill and died, taking whatever secrets he carried with him into the grave. The girl survived. And gradually the strange green tint of her skin began to fade, softening into a more natural complexion, and with time she started to learn English, carefully repeating words spoken by the villagers, slowly bridging the silence that had surrounded her arrival. When she was finally able to explain where she had come from, her account only deepened the mystery. She claimed that she and her brother were from a land called St. Martin's Land, a place where the sun never truly shone, where everything existed in a perpetual twilight glow. The land, she said, was entirely green, its fields, its light, even its people. One day, while tending their father's cattle, they heard a loud ringing sound, like church bells echoing through the air, and followed it. They wandered into a cave drawn by the noise, and after walking through darkness for what felt like hours, they suddenly emerged into the bright sunlight of Woolpit's fields, overwhelmed, frightened, and unable to find their way back. The villagers listened in stunned silence. Some believed she spoke of the underworld. Others whispered of fairies, spirits, or divine punishment. A few insisted it must be a test of faith. But no explanation fit comfortably. The girl eventually adapted to village life, even marrying later in adulthood. Yet her story lingered like a shadow over Woolpit, a reminder that perhaps the boundaries of the known world were not as solid as people believed. As the years passed, the tale of the Green Children of Woolpit spread beyond the village and into the chronicles of England, preserved not as rumour but as recorded history. Yet even documented history does not guarantee understanding. Scholars and historians across centuries have tried to untangle what truly happened that day in the wolf pit. Some suggest the children may have been Flemish orphans, refugees from nearby conflicts who spoke an unfamiliar dialect and suffered from malnutrition, their greenish skin perhaps the result of chlorosis, a condition linked to severe iron deficiency. In such cases, the body can take on a pale green hue, especially in children weakened by starvation. Their refusal to eat anything but beans might have been simple desperation for something familiar. Others propose a psychological explanation. Lost children emerging from underground tunnels, disoriented and traumatized, constructing a story of a twilight world to explain their confusion. Yet these rational theories, while plausible, fail to erase the unease that clings to the original accounts. Medieval chroniclers were not naive storytellers. They documented political events, famines, and celestial phenomena with seriousness. And still they recorded this. The detail of the endless twilight, the ringing bells, the cave passage between worlds, the gradual fading of the green skin. Whether the explanation lies in medicine, migration, or myth, the story resists neat closure. It stands at the fragile border between folklore and fact, reminding us that the medieval world was not only shaped by superstition, but by encounters that even today refuse to sit comfortably inside logic. Long after the girl grew into adulthood and her skin lost its unnatural hue, the story refused to disappear. Woolpit returned to its quiet rhythms of farming and prayer, yet the memory of the two children lingered like mist over the fields. Generations repeated the account not as fantasy, but as something that had truly happened in their village. The Woolpits remained, silent and ordinary, but no one could look at them without recalling the day when something inexplicable climbed out instead of a trapped animal. The girl, said to have lived a relatively normal life afterward, carried within her the only surviving testimony of St. Martin's Land, a place of twilight and endless green light. Was it a distorted childhood memory of displacement, a symbolic retelling shaped by trauma, or a fragment of folklore that merged with reality in a moment too strange to dismiss? What makes the Green Children enduring is not simply their appearance, but the fact that their story was recorded by respected chroniclers of the 12th century, preserved alongside wars and royal decrees. It was not hidden in myth alone, it was written into history. And perhaps that is what unsettles us most. Not that two green children were found in a pit, but that the medieval world, often dismissed as superstitious and primitive, calmly documented the event and moved on, leaving us centuries later still asking the same question. Did two children truly cross from another world into ours, or did we simply fail to understand the one they already belonged to? The Green Children of Woolpit remain one of medieval England's most unsettling documented mysteries, not because they offer proof of another world, but because they refuse to be fully explained by this one. Unlike legends shaped over centuries through embellishment, this account entered historical record within decades of the event itself. Two independent chroniclers preserved it seriously, without satire or dismissal. That alone gives the story weight. And yet, despite modern theories of anemia, migration, or linguistic confusion, something about the narrative continues to resist reduction. The imagery is too vivid. The green skin, the strange garments, the refusal of earthly food, the description of a dim world beyond a cave passage. Even if rational explanations satisfy the mind, they do not completely quiet the imagination. Perhaps what endures is not the possibility that they came from beneath the earth or from some hidden realm, but the reminder that medieval Europe was not a closed system. It was a place of movement, fear, famine, and fragmented knowledge. Children could vanish. Refugees could appear. illness could alter the body in ways people did not understand. In that fragile world, mystery was not an exception. It was part of daily life. And so the Green Children remain suspended between explanation and enigma, a story that history preserved but never solved, whispering across centuries that even recorded truth can still feel like something pulled from the edge of another world.